Secret of the Mimic is 2 months away, and there's still a lot that we haven't seen. From the first trailer and the screenshots that we could see on the Steam page, we've seen a handful of characters, but there are going to be many more in the game that we haven't even seen yet. In this video, I'll be going over the characters that we could potentially see returning in Secret of the Mimic. So first off, we have the confirmed characters that we know for a fact are returning. The first character that we know of is Montgomery Gator from Security Breach. He is going to be returning in his oldest form yet, where it appears he's actually one of the mediocre melodies. We can see him make many appearances throughout the trailer and the screenshots in the Steam page. You can see the cardboard cutout of him in the Secret of the Mimic trailer, and on the actual Steam page you can see a screenshot with his full costume on display. This has actually a lot of lore significance, since we see Monty with our next returning character, Mr. Hippo. Mr. Hippo also has a different but older look to him, and we can see his mascot costume in the Steam screenshots as well. We can also see a poster with him and the Happy Frogs on it. Now, along with Monty and Mr. Hippo are the Happy Frogs. We can see two little Happy Frogs lower on the stage, with one of them playing what looks to be a snake xylophone thing. And all of these characters together form the oldest version of the mediocre melodies. This means that in Secret of the Mimic, we could end up seeing the origin of all of the FNAF 6 animatronics, like all of the knockoff ones, just like the mediocre melodies, and who made them and everything like that. And this could also mean that all of these characters were made by Edwin and then stolen by Fazbear Entertainment. Also, the appearance of Monty with Mr. Hippo here reveal a lot about his story in Security Breach, where it makes sense that he was so angry and jealous because just like before, he was replaced by Freddy. Because in one of the endings of Security Breach, we can see Monty and Mr. Hippo together on the stage once again. The next character that we can see returning is DJ Music Man in his prototype form. This character appears to be a maestro or a ringleader of sorts, with the horn instrument protruding out of his head, and he's donning a top hat. He looks to be a massive stage prop or a carnival attraction. The next time that Music Man appears in any of these games is in FNAF 6, where we can buy him as an animatronic that can perform on the stage in our pizzeria. This form, however, is much smaller and plays the cymbals instead. I believe that we'll be seeing a boss fight against this guy in the game when it comes out. Up next, we have a character that we haven't really seen before, but one that we have potentially heard, which is Dolly. In the Help Wanted 2 surgery minigames, we hear a nurse. If you have the subtitles on, this character is actually referred to as the Carnival Nurse. And as we know, Secret of the Mimic is actually codenamed Carnival, and Dolly's a nurse, so this could end up being the same nurse. It's worth noting that we can also see the exact same symbol that we saw in Help Wanted 2 in the Secret of the Mimic trailer. The last characters that we actually know are returning are the mascot costumes that we see in Ruin. We can actually see a slightly different version of these in the trailer with the elephant. He does not look exactly like he does in Ruin, but I think it's supposed to be the same character. It was reported from people who played the demo that they saw the other crow mascot costume sitting on a conveyor belt as well, so it's safe to assume that all three will be returning in the game. Up next, we have the teased characters who we could assume that we will be seeing in the game. So first off, we have Sun and Moon, who we see in Security Breach and Help Wanted 2. I think that it is very likely that these will be showing up in the game, as we can see a Sun and Moon mural in the demo, and there's also a depiction of them on the glass mural from the Help Wanted 2 DLC. In Security Breach, we also find out that these are very old characters that were originally made for stage plays, but were brought over to the Pizzaplex to become the daycare attendant. In Ruin, we can also see once the faceplate is off that it has weird teeth that resemble the Mimics. I think that that is a part of its old prototype design from the costume manner. For these reasons, I think that Sun and Moon will be returning in the game. The next characters that were somewhat teased are Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. All throughout Security Breach, we were getting small teasers of the original Fredbear's location, with all of the old posters that we can collect in the game. And in Secret of the Mimic, we can also see the same Fredbear's posters in the factory itself. People who played the demo also reported that there are Fredbear's Family Diner like pizza boxes that they saw in the demo. So I think that it is likely that maybe for one of the secret endings or just the ending in general, we could end up going to the very first Fredbear's location, and maybe the Mimic will hide in one of the mascot costumes for Fredbear Spring Bonnie. Either that, or we end up just seeing the mascot costumes for the characters themselves in the factory. I think either of these are very likely, since it seems like the perfect time to show off these characters, and really the only time, since the next game is likely going to be Security Breach 2. The next characters that we can assume will be returning are the Fazbear gang, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. On one of the posters at the PAX West demo, there was a coming soon sign with Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. This means that during the events of the game, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is going to be opening very soon. And in the actual Mimic story from Tales of the Pizzaplex, in one of the scenes, Edwin is actually fitting the endo inside of a Foxy mascot costume. So I think that we definitely will be seeing these mascot costumes, maybe in some storage rooms. People who played the demo also said that they saw parts that looked like they were from the FNAF 1 animatronics, so that is something to take into account. I think that if we're seeing the original Fazbear characters as well, Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica will be a band, and I think Foxy will be more of a side character, not really a part of the main band, like we could see in the Fazbear and Friends shorts that tease Security Breach. I think that we could see Foxy having his own pirate crew in his own attraction. I think that this general idea also could be used throughout the game, with these separate bands of characters being used. Like we could have the Fazbear gang, then the Mediocre Melodies, Foxy's crew, the circus animatronics like the Elephant and Jackie, and the night characters that people saw in the demo, and also the tropical characters that we could see in the trailer. Finally, we have the characters that could potentially be showing up based off these other facts that we know. I think that there's a possibility that we could be seeing the oldest version of Roxanne Wolf from Security Breach, because if they have Monty and the rest of the animatronics, I think it's possible that we could be seeing a very early Wolf animatronic like Roxy. We could also maybe be seeing early versions or blueprints of the sister location animatronics, since these were either in production or like being planned out when this game takes place. And I think that it is pretty likely that we will end up seeing or hearing Henry and William. I think that throughout the game we're also going to be collecting blueprints for Fazbear Entertainment so that they can steal the characters later on. And I think that's going to be one of the main collectibles, with maybe audio logs and other trinkets that we can see in the gift boxes.